Hello everybody, how is it going? Welcome back to the Rideshare Hub. My name's Dylan. Thanks for coming by. Today's video is a story. I'm gonna be sharing with you guys a story about a Uber driver who claims he was fired for being in a photograph. So, if you guys don't know, essentially, Uber, when you sign up to be an Uber driver, you basically agree that Uber can deactivate you at any time at all. Like, literally over anything. You don't have rights, like you're not in a union, like you're not an employee where if like you get fired, then you can like complain or like, you know, sue about it. You're basically an independent contractor, they can fire you at any point. I've heard of some absolutely insane ways that people have gotten fired from Uber. I've made a video about 6 rideshare YouTubers who got deactivated. And there are some conspiracy theories saying that Uber and Lyft don't want people making videos about them on the internet, especially when they bash Uber and Lyft. So for me, I always talk very positive of Uber and Lyft. Yes, I do address problems, but at the same time, if you're complaining about your job all the time, you probably shouldn't be working there. So that's my outtake on it. I'm always super positive, and I'm just intrinsically positive because Lyft and Uber saved my life, and I'm not joking about that at all. Oh, this lighting's good. Uber and Lyft legit saved my life. Why? Because about 2 years ago I was struggling very, very badly with credit cards, car payment, rent, food, etc. I had $5,000 in credit card debt. Yes, I'm paying like 27% interest on them, which is absolutely crazy, which I can't believe I was doing that for a little while. But I kind of was, but then I was like transferring credit card, so I would, you know, get the 0% APR for the first year. But whatever, still had that balance, still my car payment, and I was literally on the verge of going homeless. But I said, you know what, let me take advantage of this. I signed up for Lyft. I got 2 jobs, worked those 2 jobs, and then before and after those 2 jobs I drove for Lyft 30-40 hours a week on top of my normal 40-50 hours a week of my other 2 jobs. So, you know, 0 social life. But it took me about 3-4 months of doing that to pay off those 2 credit cards, and then I got a better job. Still drove Lyft here and there, not too much, because I was just focusing on that other job, because I didn't want to like drive too much, then get sick and have to call out. So I just focused on that job, and that job paid $16 per hour, which at the time was really good for me because it was just solid, consistent money. 37.5 hours per week, almost 40. They just do that so I don't have to get benefits, but it was adding up, and so I eventually paid my car off. There's a helicopter going through my neighborhood. I'm sure he has a sick view right now. I'm actually low-key jealous because my neighborhood that I'm in is insanely dope, and the houses here are sick, and I've always wondered what they look like from above. But anyways, what I was saying was I pay, and then so like basically, yeah, Uber and Lyft gave me a good amount of money, well, through working with them, but like they taught me a lot more about how to manage my finances, because when I started driving Lyft, I was like, all right, well, I just made $7 on a ride. And now anytime I would go and spend a coffee, I was like, oh, that's a ride right there. Or I would go buy Chipotle for 10 bucks. I was like, well, that's 2 rides right there. So like I learned to limit my expenses to almost $0. So my expenses right now are super, super low. I rarely eat out. I cook all my own food. So what I just wanted to say that is that like the reason I don't think I've been deactivated from Uber or Lyft for doing YouTube is because I talk about the positives, not the negatives. Of course, why would a company want their employees to badmouth them on the internet? You know, people get fired over that in real jobs too. Not to say that Uber and Lyft isn't a real job, but you know what I mean. So I'm going over this story today about a driver who essentially, I'm going over my computer here. Been doing research all day, guys. Just sitting here. I love this chair, by the way. I just got it. At first I didn't really like it, and then I don't know, now I really like it. I put that thing in there and it was really nice, but I have this candle in here. Maybe I should blow it out. so it doesn't, oh, now it's gonna get all smoky in here. Well, gotta open up this window now, so the smoke clears. Uber driver says he was fired from being in a protest photo. So if you know anything about Uber or Lyft, you know that drivers are not very happy, and also sometimes drivers get a little poo-poo sour. Sorry, I know there's a lot of 3-year-olds who watch my videos, because a lot of parents, funny story, I was getting an Uber to the airport one day, and I got in and we started talking, and then halfway through the conversation the guy was like, oh, what do you do, or what do you do? And I was like, oh, I'm in school, blah blah blah, I'm doing YouTube. And he's like, oh, what? He's like, what kind of videos do you make? And I was like, oh, I talk about Uber and Lyft, I'm a driver too. And he's like, I didn't want to say anything, but I literally watch your videos every day. He's like, we don't have I think he said we don't have computers, or no, he's like, we don't have normal TV, so we put YouTube up on TV and we watch your videos every night together as a family. And he was like, I literally watch your videos with my wife and kid. And the other day he was like, are you the guy who made that video about the simple way to make an extra $10 per hour with calling your passenger on your way there? Because I have this trick where anytime I'm driving, when I'm literally 2 or 3 minutes away, I'll call my passenger and be like, hey, I'm almost there, where are you? That way, because at the beginning I was finding I was wasting a lot of time just waiting, showing up, and the passenger not being ready, or a lot of times like going to the wrong side, or the passengers, like sometimes restaurants have like a back and a front, and it's, or like, I don't know. So what I do now is just, I'm like always on the go, and I'm like, hey, where are you exactly? Where exactly do you want me to pick you up? What side of the street you're on too helps a lot, because sometimes you gotta drive around, turn around. Or sometimes I'll be like, hey, I'm driving on this side, can you please cross the street so I can pick you up, so I can go faster? And a lot of times they're like, yeah, thanks so much, you know. They're like, a lot of times people appreciate it. But he was saying, oh, you know, I don't like that because I don't want to annoy my pastor. He's like, my wife actually agreed with you, but I was disagreeing. And I was like, hey, that's fine, you know, everyone has their own strategy. That's just my strategy. And I was like, we were just talking and stuff, and he was like, yeah, that's crazy. So I want to keep this channel PG, because I know a lot of you guys do watch the videos with your family, which is great. You know, this is your job, you know, this is education right now. So anyways, let's get into the video. Oh yeah, I was just saying that drivers are a little poopy unhappy because of wages, you know, like I said, with how drivers get treated, etc. This driver apparently was in a protest photo. He was protesting, and he was in a big photo that, like, I don't know, got major news, national attention, and Uber, I guess, saw it. I don't know, but the driver, I don't know, I don't think Uber publicly said anything, but the driver said he was fired after being in the protest photo, which I find hard to believe, but let's read it and see what they said. So this former Uber driver, sorry, I always check before, because one time I had water here and it spilled all over my laptop, so I always check before I move this back. Former Uber driver Ahmed Yusuf claims he was fired for participating in a peaceful protest against the company. In a lawsuit filed on Wednesday, Yusuf says he faced retaliation after participating in 2018 protests urging Uber and Lyft to limit the number of their drivers on the road. Yusuf was captured in a Chicago Tribune photograph holding a sign that said, Uber, Lyft, respect Chicago drivers. 2 months later, Yusuf claims he was deactivated as a driver. 6 months later, after he bought a $75,000 Lincoln Navigator, Yusuf says he was deactivated from the luxury black service. Yusuf was terminated from Uber solely based on his participation, the lawsuit said. Uber declined to comment. Yusuf said in his lawsuit that Uber said it was deactivating him for, among other transgressions, creating duplicate accounts, accepting trips with. Unfortunately, this deactivation is permanent and irreversible. That's tough. That's really tough. This guy bought a $75,000 Lincoln Navigator to use for Uber Black. That is not smart at all. I am gonna just say sorry, not sorry. That's a dumb decision. Why would you invest that's almost $100,000. Why would you invest $75,000 to do a job that you literally waive your rights when you sign up? I wouldn't be surprised if Uber settles with him for like $1,000 bucks, you know? when you sign up to be an Uber driver, you waive your rights to say that, oh, I'm okay with being fired at any time. I understand this is an independent contractor job. Why would you do that and then at the same time be like, oh, let me go buy a $75,000 car, which I'm absolutely going to destroy. He probably bought that thing brand new. Every single mile you put on that car deteriorates the crap out of that car. Sorry for all the 3-year-olds watching. Your car is going to be lowered in value so much. Your car is going to turn, it's going to be a $75,000 car. As soon as you drove it off the lot, the car is probably valued at, I'm honestly going to say $60,000. You probably lost 15 grand just driving that thing off the lot now that it's pre-owned. And then every single mile you put on the car, first year, he's probably going to put on 30, 40, maybe even 50,000 miles on the car. All of a sudden you have a 1-year-old 50,000 mile Lincoln Navigator. That car might be worth 30,000, 40 at the most. I'm not, you know, I'm not a car valuator expert, but like, I'm sorry, that's a dumb decision. That cannot be smart. And now he can't even drive. So like, guys, take this as a learning experience. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Yusuf, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I just had to say that. I mean, maybe you won. Maybe you won the lawsuit. Maybe you were able to return your car. Maybe Uber bought the car from you, so you know, didn't have to worry about that. I'm not sure. I don't really know how these lawsuits work, because I know when I signed up, I said, you know, I agreed that, you know, I'm an independent contractor. I'm not an employee. And you know, you can fire me at any time. And a lot of times Uber is just really vague on the way they deactivate drivers. You know, they keep in mind, guys, they have millions and millions of drivers. They're not gonna you know, they're not gonna call you in for a meeting and be like, hey, you know, Dylan, you've been acting up, you got a couple complaints, let's, you know, chop, let's get back into it. They don't care. They're not gonna do that. They got 50,000 more drivers who will sign up today. Well, maybe not 50,000, but you know what I'm saying. Like, they can replace me in 1 millisecond. They're just gonna deactivate you if something goes bad. Who knows? Maybe he flirted with the passenger. I don't know. Maybe he got a bad complaint. I'm not really sure. You know, you never know the story. But anyways, guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Again, I don't know. Obviously, I wasn't there. Maybe that's why he was deactivated. If he was, I hope he wins his case. I'm rooting for you, Yusuf. Again, I don't think it was a smart decision to buy that car, but at the same time, you know, I don't know if it's right to get deactivated for being in that picture. Again, I'm not really sure. This is just my commentary. You know, I'm not bashing Uber or Yusuf Ahmed Yusuf for doing that. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. I will talk to y'all soon. Have a great, amazing day. Let me know your thoughts down below in the description below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, get the merch if you haven't yet. I'll talk to y'all soon. Later, guys. Peace.